Hello, Dear Valley. Today I am adding a part 2 to Nora's question about growing vegetables because one thing I didn't mention in my first response is how rewarding and enjoyable it can be to grow your own food. So here are 8 steps to help you get started. Steps to growing a great vegetable garden. Step 1. Find a good spot. You need to choose a location that has plenty of morning sunlight and afternoon shade. You want to avoid planting directly next to big trees or bushes and buildings because their roots need room to grow and you don't want them having to compete. Step 2 is to plan out what types of vegetables will most likely be eaten in your household. You can check seed packets and starts to know how much room each vegetable requires to grow. So for instance, pumpkins and watermelons and zucchini, they like to spread out across the garden, so you need to give them some space. Also, there are some plants like cucumbers and green beans that like to support their vines by reaching out and grabbing onto something. So the more you pay attention to these types of details, the better your chances are of growing vegetables. Also, there are some vegetables and some varieties of plants that grow better in specific locations, so you want to keep this in mind when choosing which plants to grow. Step 4 is all about the soil. Soil provides nutrients to plants. And so if you're interested in finding out more about this, you can check out the video for Haley's question, how do nutrients get into vegetables, to understand why soil is so important. Step 5 is all about planting seeds. You want to make rows, you want to provide spacing between each, you want to plant the seeds at the correct depth, and that means how far down in the soil it needs to go. Most seed packets are going to provide you this information. You also want to make sure to cover seeds with soil and provide enough water to moisten all the seeds within the soil. And speaking of watering, the goal is to keep the soil around the roots moist but not exactly wet. As the plant grows, more water is going to be necessary. How often you water a plant is going to depend on the type of vegetable and the weather. Watering plants is incredibly important, obviously, but it can be very hard to determine the right amount to water each plant, and so sometimes it's kind of a trial and error to see how much to do. When you are growing your own food, this can be a truly wonderful experience, but one thing to know is you should expect others to be interested in your foods as well. Insects, rabbits, and birds are only a few who may want to eat the vegetables you're growing. Also, weeds are most likely going to enjoy the environment that you have created for your vegetables, but weeds compete for those valuable nutrients that your veggies need to grow, so you might want to take care of those as well. Also, understanding that each plant is going to require different amounts of time and attention in order to mature into something ready to eat. It's important that you are regularly attending to your garden to know where they're at and if they're ready to harvest. Also, something to keep in mind is that we are really lucky here in Phoenix Valley because we actually have 2 different grow seasons, the cool and the warm, which gives us even more opportunities to grow our own foods. So, if you are interested in learning more information about gardening, the University of Arizona College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Arizona Cooperative Extension, provides so many resources online for gardening, specifically in the desert climate. Where to grow, what to grow, when to grow, all kinds of stuff that's worth checking out for sure. So, Nora, hopefully this gives you a little more information about growing vegetables. If anyone else has a question about health, nutrition, or wellness, just let me know. Have a great day.